Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. This webinar is part of our new customer webinar series called Talk Data to Me. It's aimed to provide tips, tricks, and how-tos to make you a smarter Tableau customer. My name is Megan Fay, and I'm part of the marketing team here at Tableau, and I will be your moderator today. A few quick items before we get started. All lines are currently muted. If you have a question, please use the Q&A window and select Send to All Panelists. We'll answer questions at the end if time allows. If for some reason we can't get to the questions at the end of this webinar, we will follow up with you after. The recording of the webinar and a copy of the slide deck will be emailed out after the webinar. And with that, I'd like to introduce Ellie Fields, VP of Product Marketing here at Tableau. Ellie, take it away. Ellie, I think you're muted.
Hi, sorry about sorry about that. So good to be talking with you all today. As Megan said, I'm Ellie Fields, and I want to talk to you about embedding sales analytics inside your Salesforce system. Now, many of you out there are customers. You have Tableau as an analytics system. You have Salesforce or some other CRM system, most likely. And we're going to talk about why you might want to bring those two together, because you can get a lot of really great benefits out of that. And first, I'll start off with why you might want to do that. This may be something you haven't thought about before. So there are a few really important reasons why you might want to put sales analytics right in the flow of your Salesforce CRM. And the main reason is that analytics help you understand the data in your CRM system. So think about the life of a normal salesperson. This person is coming in every day. Assume they're not always out in the field visiting customers. They're coming in every day and trying to figure out how they can best spend their time. Who do they want to call? What opportunities do they want to develop further? Where do they want to invest their day? And if you're like many salespeople today, you're actually doing a lot of different activities, right? Throughout the day, you might make tens or even hundreds of phone calls. Well, there's a lot of activity that gets logged into a Salesforce system, accounts and opportunities and contacts and details and everything. And all of that information is really hard to parse as a human being without a visual approach to it. So you can have your analytics off to the side, but putting it right in the flow of somebody's day like this, especially if it's somebody who spends all day in Salesforce, gives them an immediate insight that they don't get simply by looking at pages and pages of text. And one of the things you can do is you can actually enable large teams with data. So you can enable your sales team, your inside sales team, with one set of data. You can enable your customer support team with the tickets and the high priority cases that are coming in. And what this does is it helps people prioritize. It helps them save a few minutes here, a few minutes there in terms of trying to think about what they want to do next, what's important, has this account won a lot, has it lost a lot. And that's really critical when you're thinking about helping your sales team be more productive. And as people make decisions about where to spend time, about who to call, they have that data right in front of them. The second reason you might want to embed your analytics inside Salesforce is that you might want to be putting data in there that is not even Salesforce data. So again, you put yourself in the head of a typical salesperson. There's a lot of things that they might want to know about a customer. They might want to know some industry information. They might want to know product defects that this customer has encountered in the past. They may not want to know things that don't live within Salesforce. And when you embed your analytics inside Salesforce, you're simply giving them a view into other data. You can embed a dashboard inside Salesforce that has no Salesforce data in it at all, but it's something that you want your salespeople to look at in the flow of their day. You might mash Salesforce data up with other kinds of data and give them a more complete perspective of the customer that they're talking with. All of these things help your salespeople understand all the information they need to know in one place. And we've seen that be a very effective tool with sales teams. And further on that point, it simplifies workflows. So again, the day in the life of a given salesperson, a sales manager, somebody in customer support, somebody who's dealing with customers all day long. You could have them go through this flow of finding an account in Salesforce, opening the BI tool, find the account, find related opportunities. They're going back and forth between the analytics and the system of record, which is Salesforce. Sometimes we call this the swivel chair problem. I'm going here, I'm going there, where's this, where's that, let me look this up, look up the same thing over here. It's really frustrating, and it actually detracts from what a salesperson is supposed to be doing all day, which is thinking about the customer problem and how to solve that. You don't want your salesperson to have to spend time thinking about which systems to get to next to get the information they need to help that customer. The alternative is that they open Salesforce and just start working. And that's a really nice alternative. It lets your salespeople think about sales. It lets your customer support people think about customer support. So if we're thinking about putting analytics inside of our Salesforce system, what makes an effective analysis? What kind of analysis do you want to put in there? And after this, I'll show you a little demo that we have of some different kinds of analysis that we've embedded in a demo Salesforce system. The first element that you want is you want something visual. Now here we have two different accounts in Salesforce. This is all demo data, so we're not showing you any of our own customer data. We actually do this too, but I won't show you our own customer details for privacy reasons. But even before you know anything about this account, you can look at the picture on the right and see that this account's been growing steadily over time, that there are a number, that it's much bigger than a lot of other accounts, which is the second view there. You can see the total purchase amount, how many opportunities are there, and the win rate. You can see that this is an account that is likely highly friendly to my company, right? This is an account that buys a lot and buys regularly. If you look at the view on the left, you really have to read through all that opportunity info to see that. And you can go to the list and get a whole list of opportunities, but the instant effect of opening up this account page, and it's the same account page on both sides, it's just the dashboards are not showing on the left. This same account page gives the salesperson so much more information when it's visual and in context. And this account person doesn't need to go into their separate BI system and go look up that account. It's here right in the flow. As they're thinking about calling on this account, they can see exactly what and when this account purchased. And I think that one on the right is definitely the one people are more likely to understand immediately. The second element is that it's in the flow. Right, this idea of the swivel chair problem. So here we're looking at an accounts dashboard that a salesperson might look at. We'll take a look at this in the demo as well. And you can see from the Salesforce header up there that my dashboard, in this case, instead of embedded in an accounts page, is actually sitting right there on a tab in Salesforce. And again, it's very, very helpful. This might be the place I go first thing in the morning to say, okay, well, you know, what are my sales trends looking at like? What's my pipeline looking like? Okay, let me go and act on those things right away. And that's very important to be able to do, to be able to get that information as you're thinking about other things that you're doing. The third element is to make it interactive. And when I say interactive, I mean all those things that you look for in a good dashboard. You want to be able to drill down into data. You want to be able to see underlying data. You want to be able to get tooltips and details on demand. As this image shows, you want to be able to filter. Now, if you work with some of the standard Salesforce reports inside of Salesforce, what you find when people use those reports instead of a real analytics program, what you find is that people are creating report after report after report because the filtering is a little bit clunky. So you've got a report for your next 3 months view and your last 3 months view, or your next 3 months view, your next 6 months view, and your next 9 months view. You end up with all these reports and report proliferation, and it becomes very difficult to simply survey the information that's going on out there. I've talked to a manager who uses Salesforce reports inside Salesforce to do his daily survey of his business, and it takes him about 2 hours to go and just figure out what's going on. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to go down to 2 minutes with interactive dashboards, but I will say with a more visual and interactive approach, he could take away a lot of that time that he spends fishing for the right dashboard, reading through the information, trying to understand what's going on, and could simply absorb the information and spend the time thinking about what he wants to do, which salespeople on his team he wants to call, and which opportunities he wants to get involved in. So making things interactive is really a way of giving people more power in these views, but also simplifying their lives so they can look at a small handful of dashboards instead of many, many, many dashboards with every single slice that you might want to look at. Navigable. This is an interesting concept. When you're inside a dashboard and you see something that you want to act on, you ought to be able to go act on it right there. And this is part of having the dashboards embedded in the flow, but you ought to be able to launch off from a finding in your analytics and go straight to that opportunity or that account. And that's something that we'll see in the demo. But it seems like a small point, but when you watch somebody use a system like this, you realize how much time it saves. It's not only time, it's the thinking of, okay, well, let me go then and search. It breaks that train of thought when the salesperson's thinking about how to address that opportunity. So this navigation is a really important point. And then easily understandable. Again, we've got a left-right here, and on the left are some of those Salesforce reports that are very common and familiar if you're used to using Salesforce analytics inside Salesforce. And on the right, we've got a lead flow overview that was built in Tableau. We always try to support visual best practices in dashboards, and we try to have the product to help you with that in terms of colors and so on. And the reason why visual best practices is so important, it's not just a VizGeek thing. Visual best practices is about effective transmission of data. And in a lot of sales situations, there's a lot of data that you have to absorb. And if you look at the dashboards on the left, there are a number of dashboards. It's a little hard to tell what's going on. We've got some gauges and some other things. There's actually not that much data that your brain can parse on the left. Right? You kind of have to look at every single view and understand what's in there, and you've got some individual numbers, and maybe you can scroll down or drill in. When you look at the data on the right, you're actually looking at many, many records. I think hundreds or potentially even thousands of records in this case, and you're getting a lot of information right at your fingertips. You get an overall trend, and you can see a spike that you might want to dig into right around late September. You can see industry trends right away. You can see leads by source right away, and you can see geography right away. You're actually presenting a lot of different information and a lot of very powerful information right in one view. And because of the visual best practices, the information transmission rate is very high. Another way to say that is simply you can get a lot out of that view in a couple of seconds versus having to sit there and try and understand what's going on in the view on the left. And that's what visual best practices is about. It's about helping people understand what's happening in their business, not creating blingy dials and graphs and things that look really cool but might not actually help you understand your business. Extensibility is important. So one of the things that we talked about earlier is that you might want to get different data into your dashboard, and here's an example of that. So this is a dashboard about quotas that you might show a salesperson, and a quota includes a couple of different kinds of information. Quota includes, of course, what you've been selling and how you've achieved on your opportunities so far, but it also usually includes some information about what you're supposed to achieve, your quota. And in this dashboard, we see the quota as the gray reference line, and we've got the red to green bars, which show whether or not you've hit quota. And then the bars themselves are the salespeople's achievement against quota. And so you've actually had to blend in this dashboard some Excel data. In this case, the sales quotas are in Excel, some Excel data in with your actual Salesforce data. And so you can show salespeople this idea of what their quota achievement is, again, right in the flow of their day. And it's actually rare that the only thing you want your salespeople to see is sales information in your Salesforce account. We know that there are data silos all over the enterprise. We know that people need information from all different areas to form a real understanding, a 360-degree view, if you will, of the customer. So why not give that salesperson that information that they need right in the flow of their business? We use information like this in Tableau to help customers get to information that they want about our business. So, for example, when salespeople are looking at customer information in Salesforce, they can also see when customers attended an event. And if that event was about a certain industry like healthcare, they might be able to help guide that customer to some healthcare information. So we're trying to present all the relevant data right there for the salesperson. The next element that's important, and I'm going to spend just a minute talking about this, is that the dashboard be context aware. So what do I mean by that? That means that if I open an opportunity, I don't have to then go select that opportunity within the dashboard. The dashboard in that opportunity card is automatically updated for that particular opportunity. And it might be easier to see in a demo. We'll definitely go into this. But the way that we're able to accomplish this is via a technology called Salesforce Canvas. And Salesforce Canvas is something that comes free with Salesforce that allows applications to basically embed inside Salesforce. That's how we're able to embed these Tableau analytics right into the Salesforce views. And what that gets us is the ability to pass information back and forth between Tableau. So when you load up a new opportunity, Salesforce calls Tableau and says, hey Tableau, I've got an opportunity or I've got an account for account A. Give me the dashboard for account A. And Tableau says, hey great, I'm going to send you the dashboard for account A, and so on. So you've got that rich communication. The other thing it lets you do is if I open up my sales dashboard, my account dashboard as a salesperson, Salesforce can tell Tableau, hey Tableau, give me the account dashboard for Ellie Fields. So she only sees her information because that's her world and that's what she wants to see. And Tableau says, hey great, here's an accounts dashboard that's been customized to Ellie Fields. And so you get that rich communication back and forth. And again, it simplifies the life of the salesperson because they're not filtering twice. They're not looking within something else and looking. They get the information when they need it. The second part of the Salesforce Canvas toolkit is that it enables security between Salesforce and Tableau. There's a security handshake between Tableau Server or Tableau Online and the Salesforce application. So what does that mean? That means that you can have someone log into Salesforce, and perhaps I'm the manager of the Eastern region. All I can see are opportunities and accounts in East. I can't see West or Central. Well, the Canvas application lets Salesforce pass that information into Tableau and enforce that security so that in Tableau, if I request a bunch of information, the information I get back is only for the Eastern region. I'm the manager of East. That's the security I get in Salesforce. That's the security I get in Tableau. And I get to log into Salesforce and pass those credentials right into Tableau so I don't have to go log into Tableau as well. Now, it's important to note that if you do use a solution like this, your user, your manager of sales in the East, does need a Salesforce license and a Tableau license. All the other pieces of the solution are free. The Canvas toolkit that I'll show you, the Salesforce Canvas technology itself, all of that is free, but I do need a license to Salesforce and a user license to Tableau to enable this solution. And the last element I want to mention about embedding sales analytics into your Salesforce and making it effective is to keep it fresh. Of course, you want people to be able to see the most current analytics, to see the state of the business today, and you can do that with the Tableau data server by simply having the data server reach out to Salesforce on a schedule, either hourly or daily or what have you, and pull in that information from Salesforce and surface it up in all the different places where you may show this data. So in a mobile app for people out on the road or right in the Salesforce application. We have actually proven this out with using Salesforce Heroku with a real-time solution where you're actually real-time updating the Salesforce data and the Tableau server. But for many people, hourly or daily is plenty fresh, and Salesforce Heroku, unlike the other technologies we've talked about, is a paid technology and can get quite expensive. So we see people more often implementing a refresh over the API at certain intervals. So with that, we've got just a few minutes left. I do want to go ahead and go into a demo. So here we are in Salesforce. Let me just get you oriented. I've just logged in as Jamie Data. That's my name in this demo environment, and I'm on my home page of Salesforce. Not too much interesting going on here. I can actually find a custom tab over here called My Accounts Dashboard, and you just saw a little something that said Loading Sparkler. That's our free toolkit that we distribute to help you do this implementation. And now I can see my monthly sales trends right in the flow of what I was doing. We saw this dashboard a little bit earlier. Now, one thing I want to point out is when that dashboard loaded, it found me, Jamie Data, and I have this dashboard filtered straight to me. Now, that filter happens to be visible in this case. You may choose to make it not visible, but Salesforce and Tableau did that handshake where in both cases they knew I was Jamie Data and they served me the right dashboard. And so perhaps I'm looking at my day and I'm wondering where I want to go and spend my time, and I can look at my pipeline and see my pipeline by stages, and I can see the top accounts in my pipeline, and this can help me go and make some decisions. Now I'm getting details on demand simply by hovering over, and I can do that navigation, and I want to show you how easy that navigation is. I simply click into the account. You see that little load again happening. And now I'm going to get a dashboard for this account. So this is the account DSME. Again, some demo data we've got in here. And I can see the total history of this account. I can see all the opportunities in a visual way. I can see at a glance which ones were closed and lost without having to read in the column. And I can see how this account has stacked up over time. Looks like we've actually lost a number of opportunities with the account, and we've won a few as well. So this might tell me some things. Maybe we are consistently losing some opportunities with this account because there's some particular feature that the account wants that we are not providing. But they keep coming back and checking for it and opening up new opportunities. Maybe I'll get a chance to close some of those lost opportunities if we bring out that new feature. So I've got this at-a-glance look at what they've won and what they've lost with us. I can see our win rate's about 50% on all the opportunities. I can see how long they've been a customer. I can see that they purchased a total of about $400K over 18 opportunities. And I can see how they stack up against all my other opportunities, win rate and expected amount. And of course I can dive right into those opportunities. Now I have a theory about why we lost the last opportunity, but maybe I want to go and just dive into that opportunity. So again, I can navigate straight into that opportunity, and that's going to open up, and now I can see how this opportunity ranks against a bunch of other opportunities. This one's actually quite small, and I can see that I lost it here. And I can go down and read a little bit into the account, into the opportunity card, to get more of the color about why we lost that opportunity, which might help me next time I call that account. But you can imagine how a view like this, if I'm about to call these folks, will help me get some context on the relationship and where we are with it and the current opportunity that's on the table. So if we go back to that dashboard, we can continue going through the tabs and take a look at how I'm doing, and when I've hit and when I've exceeded my quota, which is nice. I can see how long my average sales cycle is in days, and see a little spike up over here, my average win rate, and my performance since last year. So just some basic statistics on me as a salesperson. I'm going to go back to my pipeline, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm really only interested in some. I'm only interested in the discovery phases. Maybe today I'm just going to go and look at some discovery opportunities. And you can see that down here, which is what this filter applies to, down here we're only looking at the opportunities in the stage of discover, and I may want to go check those out. Or perhaps I want to exclude those opportunities and look at all the rest. So being able to filter in right here gives you that sense that we have of having one very powerful dashboard to go through and plan your day versus having to look at the dashboard for the different phases. And I could say, well, hey, you know, I'm at a healthcare event today, and I know a number of potential accounts are here, so why don't I just drill into my healthcare opportunities and see if I can find that account here at this event that I'm at. So quite a powerful set of analytics right at my fingertips. I've never left Salesforce, and even more importantly, I can always just dig in to these different accounts as I'm understanding what's happening in my analytics. So we'll just let this last dashboard load. Again, we've got our total set of opportunities here, a little snapshot of this account. One thing I'll point out, and we don't have enough time to add it to the demo today, but so this does work in Salesforce 1, the Salesforce mobile solution. So if you open up Salesforce 1 and you've got these embedded analytics, you actually get a mobile version of these analytics that you can work with right in a mobile app. And so with that, just one or two final notes. If you would like to get these tools, we do have them available free on our website. That's a little bit of sparkler code, we call it. Sparkler is what we name the application, and a bunch of documentation, some sample workbooks, etc., that let you go and do this. Some customers have done it themselves with these resources. Some customers choose to engage our professional services team, which can be helpful, especially if you have a complex environment with a lot of moving pieces. And you can go ahead and get this straight off our website. Another thing you might want to get are some of the templates that we've built for the standard Salesforce tables. So we've got templates around accounts and leads and opportunities and so on that if you haven't built out dashboards for Salesforce, might just give you a head start. These dashboards don't use any custom fields or custom data as you might expect, so you can customize them further, but they're a nice way to just get something up and running fast with a good look and feel. And so with that, I think we've raced through the demo and the presentation, and I would be happy to take any questions with the remaining 2 minutes.
Thanks, Ellie. If anyone has any questions, please use the Q&A box and send to all panelists. There is one question. You know, when we're building these dashboards and embedding them into Salesforce, how much is too much? I know you just showed the resources of some templates to get started, but when does a dashboard within Salesforce have too much information that may overwhelm the salesperson?
It's a great question, and it's a general question for dashboard design. You know, it depends on the flow of your salespeople's day. It depends on what issues you're trying to focus on with your Salesforce. We actually use this tool at Tableau to show some of those embedded analytics. I think of the embed in two different ways. One, you've got your dashboard, like we looked at, the whole accounts dashboard, and that's kind of like a central point to just go and get a 30,000 point level view of your whole world. When I look at specific accounts, or opportunity cards, I think you do want to limit the amount of analytics in there. You don't want to have, say, 10 views on a dashboard. But what you do is you're just showing people a summary of the information in this card. We actually haven't done any really hard-hitting analytics here, but this summary is a visual way of looking at things that are already there. So it's helping the salespersons, it's saving time for them. So you might want to limit the number of views, but depending on what you want them to do, for example, if you wanted them to focus on support tickets with a particular customer, you might want to bring that data in. So as with any dashboard, you definitely want to look at what the questions are you're trying to answer in that particular scenario.
Okay, great. One last question before we close up. Is this possible to do with Tableau Desktop? I guess, do we need Tableau Desktop or do we need Tableau Server? What product do we need to be able to do that?
This is enabled with Tableau Server and Tableau Online. And Tableau Server and Tableau Online are products that can serve web pages like this that can be embedded in other areas. So what you would do is you would use Tableau Desktop as your way to connect to your Salesforce data via the Connect the Data dialog and our Salesforce native connector. You'd bring that data into Tableau Desktop, build the views that you want, and then publish those views and the data up to Tableau Server or Tableau Online. And you do need one of those two products to enable this solution, because Tableau Desktop doesn't. Tableau Desktop needs a way to publish these views to the web. Okay, thank you for answering that. We are out of time for today, so if you've asked a question and we have not answered it, we will follow up with you. I'd like to thank you for joining today's webinar. This is an ongoing series that will be running for the foreseeable future. The next webinar in this series is titled Rapid Fire Tips and Tricks,
It will be running next Thursday, April 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific, and I hope you can join that one too. So thank you, Ellie. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we'll
Thanks,
talk
Megan.
to you soon.
Take care.